Welcome to the jungle of hero wars. This episode is all about Orion Dorian and Helios, alias the Bloody Mary. It is probably the most popular combination to counter crit teams, and it's funny to watch these fights. You can see literally the pain in their faces, and it feels like a self-destruction on the opponent's side. But how does that work? The key is here Helios with his flaming retribution skill. Every suffered crit on Helios' team will punish the attacker with a 80,000 strong magical hit. Wow, that's a lot, but only if his solar wind is currently active. If we watch the fight before step by step again, then we see Andvari is hitting critical, but he gets no damage. It's because Helios hasn't activated his skill yet. No sphere, no punishment. Now we see here his sphere in the middle. It appears really early in the fight and helps perfectly against those Keira teams. Keira lands a crit. Boom! In this example, 67k are coming back in her face. Next crit, and she's already dead. This setup turns the critical power of the opponent team against themselves. Really awesome, and it doesn't matter how big the hit is, even low crits will trigger the sphere. But the time is limited, you have only 10 seconds. Crits after this time will not hurt the enemies. Don't worry, the time gap is really small, it's only about 4 seconds. Okay, Helios is the key to counter the crit teams. Why should we use Orion? It's a legitimate question, and the reason is very easy. Helios has no own magic penetration. Every hero has a magic defense value, some higher, some lower, but on max at least about 3000. Sebastian has a relative high value and he reduces Helios damage by over 86%. It feels like tickling his tummy. For Keira is it still not really funny and dangerous. Nevertheless, do we see a big reduction of 55%. Orion is the only one who provides with a second basic attack already a magic penetration buff for the whole team, and this allows Helios to do his full damage with his skill. And thanks to Dorian's bloody aura, they are healing themselves with doing damage. The self-healing is so crazy, it looks like they are immune. With this trio we have a really stable core, and Helios helps to increase the survivability with his Guardians of Galaxy. The two spheres absorb together up to 180k physical damage, and they protect the whole team. You see them here. An interesting fact is that they are scaling up with every magic attack buff. The more buffs, the more protection. Also, your flaming retribution skill is not a fixed value, and it will be stronger with every magic attack buff. Here's an example what I mean. Look closer at Daredevil. She uses her ultimate and gets even interrupted by Helios' passive. She gets the 80k hit. Jorgen provides now with his ultimate the magic attack buff, and Daredevil's bomb bombs herself away, but now with over 100k. Sebastian shows it again with his critical hit. It's only a good to know thing. We have another mechanic which could be better described. Orion's ultimate. He fires 6 missiles on the enemies with the highest health, and this is only half the truth. His calculation starts of course at the beginning of his ultimate. He scans the enemies and searches for the one with the highest life, in this case Ziri, then the second one, Lilith, and then the third one, Galahad. Then he's ready to shoot 2 missiles to every aim, and this happens all the time in the fight. Only if we have less than 3 targets, then we get more missiles on the same target. An interesting info: Orion scanner cannot differentiate between heroes and non-heroes like Morrigan skeletons. Okay, what options do we have to increase our power? The first one is Nebula. She has an amazing buff ability and it harmonizes really well with Orion's ultimate. Here's a clean max testing fight with his new skin, where we can see this nice behavior. Exactly on Orion's first ultimate is he buffed by Nebula, and one single missile does now unbelievable 91k, and we have 6 of them. His damage is with this boost more than doubled, and it works the same for his next ultimate. I thought at the beginning the Nebula buff is fixed for the nearby allies, but it's wrong. If you are fighting like here against a Dante who destroys your positioning, could it be that Nebula buffs a different hero? Her buff is really great, but I wouldn't use her against those Keira teams. She's too squishy for the high pressure and she dies very quickly. On the other hand, is Luther here an interesting choice? He jumps to the backline and turns Keira around. Her basic attack flies now in the wrong direction and it helps to survive longer. Great move, but you have also the disadvantage to get less hits, which means less crits for Helios. I have to mention one great use case for Nebula in this setup. Especially against weak Jorgens is her green ability very handy. The massive damage of Orion forces a weaker Jorgen to use his ultimate early, and Nebula just removes his curse perfectly. The limit is here a 300k life Jorgen if you have a max Orion Nebula combo. Helios solar wind is very important and we have to understand it completely. The duration has changed with his rework, from 14 to 10 seconds. I say this because on the wiki are still the 14 seconds described. They have probably changed the timing, especially for these Daredevil teams. Daredevil has a nice ability, Big Bada Boom. She kicks a bomb into the middle of the enemy team, it explodes and deals always critical damage. She would just kill herself immediately, but the sphere disappears perfectly when she uses it, and it appears perfectly after that. This is a well-constructed timing. It doesn't mean you have no chance. The gap is very small and her ultimate is always priority number 1. If she's critting like an idiot, she misses her given window and the bomb bombs then herself. If you are using Daredevil on position 4, then it works also perfectly on attacking. An interesting fact is, when Helios uses his ultimate, all spheres disappear. I thought this is his weakness, but no. We get invisible damage and his skill is still active. Only his shields really disappear. A little bit confusing, but yes, that's how the jungle works. The last finding with the solar wind is related to his death. Yes, his sphere is still active even he dies. I'm sure I've seen the critical punishment too, but I have unfortunately no evidence. If you have seen it too, let me know it. Okay, let's check out now how we can beat the Bloody Mary. The first one is Satori. the weird looking fox. He is the bonus energy counter and Orion produces a lot of them. With every basic attack, the foxfire marks appears over his head, and that's bad. If Satori uses his ultimate, then it's generally game over. Even the resurrection of Astaroth doesn't change anything. The foxes overcome the death and hit Orion after his revival. This feels really mystic. And Amira's new skill, which allows her to block any magical damage up to 45,000, counters Orion and Helios completely. No damage means no heal too. This brings us to Rufus. His shield is amazing and absorbs a lot of magical damage. For Orion's healing is this really bad. The absorbed damage doesn't count for Dorian's aura, and then he can't heal himself. And Jorgen is also a great counter. His ultimate freezes Orion's crazy energy gaining completely. One really smart counter is Luther. After his rework is his usage very easy. He jumps to the backline and pushes Orion, and in this case even Jorgen, out of Dorian's aura. And it feels like they are naked now. They have many weak points, and one endgamer said, Orion Dorian Helios at defense is like a gift. Kark can beat them. Twins burst them away. Or even other Dorian combos like Keira and Lilith. And also some Aurora Arachne Dante setups are able to stop them. Let's jump to how to counter the counter. Yeah, it's not so easy to counter so many counter setups. But I like the idea to use Rufus and Andvari. Andvari's routing helps well to withstand against Kark teams. Your heroes at the back are safe to be thrown in the air, and Rufus cannot die by magical hits. So if twins are bursting you away, they have to get the lucky shot. If not, you will win. Subscribe. Subscribe. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I wish you all the best. Peace.